And remember, this is what you hear of what has unfolded, because the footage has not been put in public domain, but the journalists have seen it for themselves, of how from whether it was a GoPro that the terrorists had on their bodies, whether it was the dash cam footage or the mobile footage that has been and continues to be accessed by the Israeli forces. I want to now bring in Shiv on that. Shiv, you know, what started with very clear visuals of how people were being terrorized in Israel, to the bloodied cribs and much worse. Why do you think it's important right now to be able to get to know and see more of these images of what unfolded as a massacre on 7th October?
You know, no matter how much war reporting one does and how much conflict reporting one does, how much death and destruction one, watches in the flesh, being witness to something like this, even if it's on screen, is truly a numbing experience. And this was, visceral violence of the worst kind, because this was real. It had a movie-like quality, it had a video game-like quality, the kind of senseless killing. But this was very, very real, and I needed to remind myself of that, through the entire 43 minutes. This was body cam footage, this was CCTV footage, traffic cameras, mobile phones of victims and the terrorists. I think as far as public sentiment in Israel is concerned, there's a good reason why this footage hasn't been made public, even though the IDF did tell me that they plan to, put this footage out into the United Nations. But I think there is an angry bewilderment, like I said in my piece and in my story, about why the international community appears to be distracted from what really triggered this whole thing. The hostage crisis, the massacre on October the 7th. There is a political narrative that Israel continues to be quite suspicious of, that is focused on the crisis in Gaza. There is no doubt a crisis in Gaza, but there is an increasing sentiment here that people in the international community, the stakeholders in multilateral organizations, are focusing singularly on that and not on where it all started, which was the massacre of 1,400 people and this hostage crisis. I'm standing here in Tel Aviv amidst relatives and friends of many of those hostages, and there is anger here as well about how that narrative is shifting. And I think that's the reason why Israel, the defense forces here, decided they wanted to show at least some of that footage out in public. So I was one among the journalists who actually put that story out.
And it's important, Shiv, it's important for the journalists to be able to at least watch it, document it, even if the world doesn't have to, because I can only understand and imagine the kind of heartbreaking images those would be.
India's #1 political reporter
defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye, unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% news that matters. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV.